So I'm watching my son's football practice right now, and I got a little spare time. So you might see me looking out the window. They don't do a totally open practice. I've worked at some schools and been in some situations where, they allow parents to sit in the bleachers and stuff like that. Here, there's a fence on the outside, so it might look a little weird, but that's what I'm doing, for what it's worth. Anyhow, look, as a man, you need to, if you got the choice to be liked or respected, go with the respect. Now, I still think I'm a nice guy, but I've learned in life that being passive, and I was way more of a passive and nice guy until my son was born. A lot of things changed in my mental makeup at that point, because there's just some things I'm not going to allow when it comes to my son, as far as mistreatment or whatever the case is concerned. I'm not telling you to be offensive minded. I'm not telling you that all people are bad, or to go out and try to intentionally just bother people and cause problems. But I am saying this. Let's go with being liked. Well, if people like you, well, they may treat you well. They may do favors for you. You may be invited into certain social circles. Okay. What else could come with being liked, though? You live long enough, you'll see some situations where, in order to be liked, people want you to carry out certain actions or act a certain way or look a certain way. If you don't fit that description, and don't be in these situations where you like people more than they like you if you're going to do it. Because when it gets to the point where you like somebody or you want somebody to like you, especially if they keep moving that goalpost, well, today you got to do this for me to like you. Tomorrow you have to do something else. This time you have to embarrass yourself. This time you have to let someone disrespect you. You see, this rabbit hole that this wanting to be liked can take you down. Next thing you know, you're being used and abused, like I told you in another video. Now let's go with the concept of being respected. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me get a good old working definition of respect. RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. Respect. Dictionary.com. A feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. Okay. Do regard for the feelings. Regarding meaning you actually care. It actually matters concerning the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others. So it's one thing to like somebody, because you can like something at one point and not like it at another, or like a person and not like them later. But when you have regard for their feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions, ladies and gentlemen, that's called boundaries. People respect boundaries. My son made a nice catch. They're working with the skill guys out here. So even though he's playing linebacker, they put him with the skill guys, because I don't know if they're gonna put him at running back and fullback too as a possibility. But I threw him a nice pass over his shoulder and he caught it. He makes tackles, but he doesn't always he isn't the best at catching. Go figure. Anyway, when somebody respects you, here's the thing: they may not like you, and that's okay. I'd rather be respected than liked, because I know certain things are not going to happen when people respect you. So one thing I do also is I go out of my way to respect people. Even little boys and little girls, I call them sir and ma'am. Why? Well, I've gone out of my way to show you that respect, and generally I get the same type of speech and response, speech pattern. But you can't say I disrespected you because I went out of my way to respect you. And that goes with other things. That's just an example. But in my classroom, you'll hear me call kids sir and ma'am. I, of course, do that with adults. But in other words, what I'm saying is, hey, I have a deep admiration for your rights and wishes just because I'm a respectful guy. So you have no reason to mistreat me. I haven't given you one. Because then, should you have a situation where you're being mistreated, now you can clearly say, you know what? This mistreatment is strange because I've gone out of my way to treat this person well. So what we're dealing with now is a blatant lack of respect, which brings me to my next point. When you realize that people, and you need to figure it out early, when people are going to be disrespectful, sniff it out and nullify those actions early. When people start playing little games, they pronounce your name wrong on purpose, they call you little names, or they start encroaching upon your space, or little types of abuse or inappropriate speech, make it clear, hey, I'm not interested in that type of behavior. We're not going to do that. Because like in my other video, I told you, you grin, you in. When you go, oh, okay. All right, now that person thinks it's okay to abuse you. Now, what I want you to understand today is when these things have happened, you've gone out of your way to be respectful to people, you've done what you're supposed to, you've walked away from silly situations, you've said, hey, please don't treat me that way. That's not okay. You understand it is your God-given right to be left alone if you want to be left alone and to live in peace. Now, sometimes, unfortunately, you may have to take a stand. And here's what people who like to bully and abuse, here's a game they like to play. But why are you being so aggressive? Why are you being so unruly? Or what's your problem? Because you have some people in this world who want to abuse you. And because you don't want to be abused, now something's wrong with you. Don't you dare put yourself in these situations where somebody makes you feel bad for not allowing yourself to be abused. Don't you dare. And you persist in taking care of yourself and insisting that you being treated right, or that you are treated right as much as you need to. I don't care how much somebody says, oh God, here goes this person again asking to be treated well. Oh God, here's this person again starting, here comes trouble, or whatever the case may be. That's your body, that's your mind, your rights, your beliefs, and granted, your rights and beliefs don't need to be hurting other people. You can think what you want about me, okay? You have the right to free thought, free speech, whatever. If your speech offends me, because you don't have to talk to me, then, you know, I have a choice to not listen, to walk away or whatever. But you're not going to put your hands on me. You're not going to keep me from going anywhere I need to go. You're not going to approach me with some type of inflammatory speech and not expect no type of reaction in return. I'm not saying I'm going to physically retaliate or anything like that, or, you know, but I'm gonna just say this: you be careful how you treat people, because everybody ain't gonna take that crap off of you if you're that type of person. But whatever it is, you know, if your rights don't bother me, if they don't stop me from doing what I need to do, stay out of my way and I'm gonna stay out of yours. But if you're going to go out of your way to offend someone, or somebody's going to go out of their way to offend you, and to bother you and to hinder you and to disrespect you. Okay? You stand up for yourself in a legal and civil way. The law calls it equal force. Let's use that. So meaning, if it's just verbal, okay, a verbal response is it's lawful, legal, and okay. You can't get physical with someone behind their verbal atrocities, unfortunately. But you can move out of the way. You can insist that you not be treated that way. You can walk away. You can even decide if you're going to engage verbally or not. Just don't stay in a situation where you're being abused verbally, because it will escalate. Think, pray, position yourself the best way you can. Watch where you go, watch who you're around, but don't let anybody make it like you're being a nuisance or an inconvenience because you insist on being respected and treated well and nothing less. Don't ever let that happen, because that's a game that people try to play to see if you're weak mentally enough to set you up to use you and abuse you, as I talked about in that other video. But that's the main point of today. It's not okay for people to treat you wrong, part one. But the second half of that is you do what you need to do as long as it takes to not be mistreated. Walk away as many times as you need to. And look, when somebody shows their colors and they're like that, don't, maybe with kids might change their colors as they grow and get more mature, but past a certain age, I'm gonna say like 25 is you're pushing it. 30, you should know better. 35 and up, they ain't gonna change. And you need to go ahead and get out of those situations. I would give a little bit of leeway. I give a lot of leeway to kids in elementary school. I give a little less to kids in middle school. High school, we pushing it. 20s, people try to reinvent themselves. Mid-20s, people are trying to find their way in the world. But by the time you start to hit 30s, definitely, people are who they're going to be. And don't get in people's lives trying to change them either. Don't get in these situations where you meet somebody and they're doing something and you expect them to change. And then 5 years later, well, why won't you? No, that's who they were when you met them. Don't ignore red flags. Don't be a red flag, but don't ignore red flags either. I'm rambling at this point. Like, share, and subscribe, but you have the right to be treated okay. Share this with somebody, because you got a lot of people. Like, share, and subscribe, because you got a lot of people out there who are made to feel like something's wrong with them because they want to be respected. And we have too many nice people, too many good people in this world who get mistreated, and then they don't want to be good people anymore. So you have to be the change that you want to see in the world.